What's up, ladies? It's Monday night. It's so funny. I still want to yell, like even though the music is really soft. It's like ding, ding, ding. I'm like, what's up? I still feel like it's like a complete like wild show. Oh my goodness gracious! Look at this. My mom is here tonight already. Hi, Mom. Cute. Shari Freed's in the house. I can see the number going up. It's 8:01. Today is. What is today's date? The 21st,
March
right?
21st. The second day of spring.
I'm a day behind already.
It is the second day of spring, and here we are. We are so excited because tonight, this is the last week of the live. Next week, we have an amazing private group, our Open-Minded Mystics Mastermind group, which is group 6. This is episode 70. It's like, I feel like Yolanda Vega right now, but
Yolanda Vega, number 70.
I know Jerry Reesby's here.
Howdy.
Hello, ladies. You love the music, our musician.
Chris
Thank
Casey.
you.
It was so good seeing him. He is our Girls Gone Green singer, and he's going to do one for Open-Minded Mystics. I didn't get to tell you ladies that.
Cool.
He's going to do something soulful and mellow and wonderful because Chris Casey is a genius.
He is a genius. I'm so excited about that.
And then, God Almighty.
Apple is a genius. For any of those people out there watching, that's the ringtone to say, this is time to share our video. So if you're watching, welcome live from Facebook and YouTube. If it's your first time here, make sure to subscribe and like and share from YouTube. And of course, do the same from Facebook, because who couldn't use a little bit of us on a Monday night? I mean, we have myself, I'm Donna V, I'm your host. And then we have, of course, Tracy Locke, voice of the audience. T-Lock, give a girl a call. Shari Freed shouting out. She said, ladies looking peaceful. We so are. And of course, we have Kim Azella, our relationship coach and life docent. And we're so excited. He said, not sure if I can pull that off.
You can totally pull that off, Chris Casey. I believe in you. We will talk about that.
That's awesome.
Like, open-mindedness. Yeah, I have to get like a light, let's say. Wait, is this right? Open-mindedness.
There it is. I like that. Are you feeling mystical tonight?
Yeah.
Because I am.
Because I am. No, I think tonight we have a really amazing topic. We always have amazing topics. And I was thinking about it today as we approach episode 70, that we've actually talked a little bit about this topic, peppered in with lots of other videos that we've done.
Yeah.
We're talking about creating luck. We're talking about shifting for miracles. And also, I know we even added a little bonus. We want to help get rid of the intrusive thoughts that stop us from succeeding and stop us from doing what we want. And I know Kim is chomping at the bit to talk about that. But just remember, too, when you're done and you're missing us, that you could check out all of our videos on YouTube. And we have one with Dark Winter Moon. We did the sigils. We learned about that for creating luck. And also his money. He's got some money magic spells. So we're going to have him back on sometime soon.
He's great.
Yeah. We have a line of guests coming up that's going to blow your mind.
I know. I am so excited about the guests, ladies. And as you can see behind me, I turned my diffuser green for love and luck.
Ooh, I love that.
And hearts. So I just wanted to mention that because I think it's important.
That's
that
awesome.
I'm feeling lucky.
Feeling lucky? That's good.
I'm feeling really lucky. So that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, and I missed you guys. I'm so excited. This is an awesome topic. I got a ton of reaction from a lot of people who watch the show, and they love turning showers into flowers. I think because it's spring, everybody's in that mode of like, I am ready to get out of the house. I am ready to get into a great mood. I am ready to turn it around. I feel like we are just rounding the corner of feeling like we're out of the COVID, hopefully, loop, meaning not going to be hemmed in. And I think people are ready to turn everything around. So I think this topic is totally on time. And I think it completely makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. And spring is such an important time. Like, first place, for me, I celebrate Easter, but even if you don't celebrate Easter, the idea of rebirth, renewal, trying again, starting again, another chance to do over. It's a do-over in life. Everything. And you know what I love about spring is during winter, everything looks like everything looks like it's gone, right? It's like dead, right? And then it just like magically sprouts up. Things that look so dead. I always talk about like, I love lilacs. I love lilacs. And if you've ever seen lilacs, they grow in the ugliest, bush, right? Like they just like really like the ugliest bush. And I had lilacs in my backyard, and I used to
Me
have friends
too.
like, why do you keep those ugly bushes around? Because for 2 weeks a year, those bushes were glorious, right? Like so it's like, and that's the thing, is like really appreciating the fact that spring comes and goes, right? And so rebirth, every year we get this chance to do it again, to get better, to try again, to restart. And this spring specifically, because so many of us are starting to feel a little free. Not all areas of the world, but definitely in America, right?
Yeah,
Like
sure.
definitely in America, we're starting to feel more free. Or even if you're not feeling free, we're feeling like there's more we want to do. Like there's more we want to do. We're ready. We're done with being stuck. It's time to make some massive changes. And so I'm so excited that that's such a great time to talk about how do we turn those showers into flowers? How do we really take our lives? And because one of the things, I was having a conversation with my son about this, and that sad doesn't stop happening, right? Bless you.
Thanks.
It's not like you live a life and all of a sudden one of the things I had to learn on a spiritual path was like, you don't just like learn these lessons and then you never face challenges again. You never make mistakes again. You never deal with hardship. And I always say, I had a conversation with a client once who said, oh, that must have happened way before you knew about A Course in Miracles. I'm like, I think that was my third go round when I had that experience, right? Like, so life doesn't stop being challenging. But what I did say to my son is, the better you get handling your emotions, the more successful you become. That's it. The better you get at moving from showers to flowers and seeing it. And so what a miracle is change of perception, right? So it is recognizing that it's not all dead. It's just underground. It's getting ready to be born. It's pregnant with birth, right? And that's what the world is and becoming. And that's what we're becoming, really, really birthing our next phase in life, becoming unstuck, getting back out into the world and becoming us and becoming, like open-minded mystics talking about getting together and doing more things in person.
Yeah, totally. You know what's interesting? Today, I listen when I'm in the car. I always listen to like uplifting lessons and Joel Osteen was on, and his talk today. The funny thing that we're talking about turning showers into flowers. His was talking about, are you buried or are you actually just planted, and the difference between the two.
Yeah,
and understanding that like when there's dirt there, whatever gets thrown onto you isn't always trying to bury you. It's like might be your planting season, meaning you're planted and you're ready to rock and roll. And just talked about like seeds and always equating it to that. And I just think that's so brilliant. Such a great analogy. Donna, you're the queen of analogies. So you know what I'm talking about. When you think of yourself as a seed and you might be buried and you might feel dark and it might feel like a really rough time, but how do you know you're not planted instead of buried? Where it's like you're not being pressed down. It's just you're getting ready to sprout up. And that's
the art of allowing. So it's like the art of allowing, meaning that you're there in that hibernation. And it's so funny because Kim, when you said that about the lilac bush, I have one in my yard that I was gifted as like a housewarming. And I will tell you what, it was beautiful when it was handed to me. I planted it, and for a really long time I was like, oh, that's good. That needs that much space in my yard, like around it. And now it's humongous. And like you said, a lot of the time it's really there and you don't even recognize it. And it's funny because, talk about turning your luck. I saw a video of an older person and it was like a message. There's I don't know. There's so many videos out there. We're all inundated with them, right? We're making them. We love them. But it's like there's TikTok, there's Reels, there's whatever. And it was this thing, and it was where they interview people on the street, and you could actually sign up to be part of it if you want to interview people, which is really cool. But it was this older gentleman, and somebody interviewed him about what's the message for life, and he said love, and he said love everything, love everyone, because this is it. But you think this is it. And he was talking about the fact that he was dying, and he knew he was dying, but he's in a wheelchair out at a park, and everybody's smiling, and he's saying it. I'm like, now that is somebody that you could take a note from. That's not sitting there, woe is me, because burying yourself would be like, just not being able to come up with that positive part of it. And he said that he received messages he saw his like mom coming, saying, I'm going to be there. And it's like that belief. And that is the shift in perception. It's the people that have no belief versus the people of the belief. And I don't care what your belief is. It could be in the belief in the universe. It doesn't have to be in, Christianity or Judaism, whatever it is. I'm saying if you have a belief, I think that is when you can shift your perception. But it's the people I know that believe in like nothing. They seem to be those that have a harder time turning and shifting something from negative to positive. Seeing the beauty.
You have no hope. You don't have anything. I mean, because.
But I think that most people that have no beliefs probably wouldn't really be attracted to, to something like this. Probably wouldn't be listening to something like this, because we all have, I think it's really, we believe different things. All three of us, I think we have kind of different beliefs, but we all have really strong beliefs that there is help out there. And I don't know, it's got to be super hard. Like, I don't understand why you'd want to believe in nothing, like that you're just like existentialism, like you're here and then that's it, like peace out. Like, it just seems so impossible to me. Like, even if there is no God, or, because I don't really think of it as God, I think of it as energy, right? And source. And I think that some people think of it as God and some people think of it as super conscious mind, but whatever you believe in, I think that, it makes more sense to believe in something like that than to believe that, like, it just, that we had no purpose at all. I think that when you believe in something beyond yourself, then that's where your purpose tends to get established. Although I guess if you thought that this was your only one shot, then you would probably just do all that you could to, if you really did believe that, do all you could to make it an awesome shot.
Well, I still haven't dug up the bush, and I only get to see it 2 weeks out of the year. So I do believe.
Yeah, I do too. I love
seeing the positive in everything.
Yeah. And I had them in my backyard in my first house, and they were all over, because they need a lot of space, and they kind of are invasive. And because of those 2 weeks, it was worth it to me, because and then every once in a while it would rain in those 2 weeks, and it would be like a week and a half, and I'd be like, what?
But that's just it. That's a shift in perception. That's what you're talking about with miracles and finding the beauty in something to, well, I want to put this up. This is what I really wanted to find out today. You said how to stop intrusive thoughts.
Well, I think that this is something that I want to talk about, that I always think about, like, what helped me the most when I was young, right? And then what helped me the most when I was first on my spiritual journey. And I think that we stop ourselves a lot because we're afraid, right? We're afraid. Like, what are they going to say? Like, I used to not teach what I was not want to teach in the world. I would teach it very privately, because I didn't want certain people to find out that I taught A Course in Miracles, right? This was like in my 20s and 30s, because I used to feel like, what are they going to think? And then in my 50s, when I just put myself out there, first place everybody's like, oh yeah, no Course in Miracles. And I'm like, really, where have you been? And also, the people that I was worried about never even watched anyway.
Right.
They didn't even care.
Yeah, that's the
That
thing.
is so
That's
true.
One comment I just want to say when we're talking about intrusive thoughts, and we've talked about this before, but I just think it bears repeating because it's so relevant. Is like, if you knew how little people think about you, you'd be shocked. You'd be shocked. So
Right.
Just do it. You got to enjoy life. Yeah. Okay. But anyway,
but
back to
so
what you were
an
saying.
intrusive thought is like this. And if anybody out there is an addict, you definitely know what an intrusive thought feels like, right? You're like, oh, I'm like 3 weeks into being clean and sober, 3 weeks into, and then you have that thought, I could just do it once, right? Like, just whatever it is, it would make me feel better, and then I'll get right back on track, right? And then, like, you'll be like, no, but just once, I'll feel better, I'll get back on track. I make you make a promise to yourself. That's one version of an intrusive thought. But the ones that are worse are the ones that do that, say this. You're doing something, and you say, why am I going to even put in an effort? I'm going to fail this, right? And why am I doing this? It doesn't mean anything. Why even do open-minded mystics? Nobody's watching, nobody cares, right? That might be an intrusive thought. And then how do you overcome that? Because most intrusive thoughts are based in some version of possible logic, even though they don't make any sense, right? Like, especially with the addictive thought, like, I could just do it once, because there are people in the world that could just do it once. I just never happened to be one of them. Right?
Like, I've never met them, but I'm sure they exist. By the way, I'm closing a door, girls. Keep talking. I just want you to know. I forgot to close this door.
No problem.
Go
So
ahead.
there are these quick thoughts, and what happens is, because the way the law of attraction works, you're feeling great, and you let one little thought in, and now you have a choice, right? So the better you get at intrusive thoughts, the less power they have, right? Because the second this is why one of the things I was taught to talk back to myself, When that thought would come up, I'd say, that is a lie I'm telling myself to make myself afraid. That's a lie I'm telling myself or to keep myself from having to be accountable, or to keep myself from having to be out there and sit in being uncomfortable, or to sit and be in failure, possible failure. Because if I say, well, I just failed, why bother doing it? Then I don't have to actually face the reality of possible failure. I'll just avoid it altogether. So the thing about an intrusive thought, and I'm sure that anybody listening is probably can think of different realms that we get them, right? We get them at work when we do some work, and then all of a sudden we get thought in our head like, oh, what if my boss hates that? Or is my boss upset with me? Maybe he's going through his day, or she's going through her day. And you're like, they're mad at me. And then you start to think, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And you spend and meanwhile, they don't even know that you have this thought. They're just walking by and thinking about something that they're upset about. And then you get all obsessed, right? And it is about having a conversation with yourself. Byron Katie has a really good thing. It's called The Work. The conversation is, do I know that's true? Right?
Right.
Could I prove that's true? Is that ultimately true? And you have to talk back to the thought. And then what you can do with an intrusive thought is find a better one. Find a real better one. You can't find a better one like, everybody loves me here. Nobody would ever think a bad thought about me, and I'm perfect. Because that's not something you could even verify, and it's not going to really make you feel better because you can't make sure that's true. But it could be like, hey, you know what? I did the best I could with everything I was doing, and I'm just going to trust that if anybody really had a problem with me right now, they'd be adult enough to talk to me about it. So I'm just going to let this go and trust in myself that I know I did my best, and I'm going to let it go. And I'm going to do my best. And I'm not going to allow renting room in my head. And that's what they call it, renting room in your head. You have so little space in your head we all do. We all have so little space for a thought. We can house one thought at a time. How much rent are you willing to let just go down? How valuable is the space in your head? And if you could start to think, the space in my head is super valuable, I'm only going to allow myself to think the things that lead me to power, right?
So that would be pivoting.
Yeah, it's right? Definitely a version of pivoting.
Right.
So I wanted to talk about pivoting from an intrusive thought, because pivoting isn't just I'm feeling bad. You can not even be feeling bad. You can be feeling great. And then all of a sudden you have that first thought. And the goal with that first thought is I got to move beyond it, right? I got to move right beyond it because it will lead to a second one. It will, right? That first intrusive thought, if you give it space, it'll lead to a second one. A really great thing that you could do is turn to someone that you trust and say, I just had this you could call it an intrusive thought. I'm having a silly intrusive thought. And it is, that I'm going to fail this test. I have this, that I'm, if you're in school or that, I'm going to lose my job. And the person might say, well, have you done anything to lose your job? And you could say, well, not that I think of, right? So not that I think of is a really good answer, because that really is, if you'd I took an axe to my boss's desk. Well, you might be like, that's not an intrusive thought. That's,
that's reality.
That's reality.
I keep going back to the thought of when you're letting people have rent. I feel like in that way it would be, I have squatters sometimes when you get these wacky thoughts and you're like, how do they find the key? So when you said, well, did you do something? It's like, well, did you leave the key in the doorknob? Like, what did you do? Like, why are these people in? Like, why are they getting in? And it does happen though.
Right. It definitely happens. And one of the things that a tool that we had talked about, both of you had talked about, is actually naming those thoughts, like giving them a name. I've also heard that in other talks about this. Like I call it, no offense, Donna, Francine. So I'll be like, look, Francine. I know it's Francis, but I'm just saying.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh, Francine. You know what I mean? Like a name that you really don't hear a lot. And you almost say it's like another voice talking to you. It's not yourself. I don't know if that's helpful. I don't know if that's like.
I think it's great. I think it's like, if Francine could be the name for the ego voice in your head, right?
Right.
Like, so if you ever read A Course in Miracles, they really do say that we have two teachers, right? Like the ego mind and the spirit mind. And so Francine, I guess for some reason.
That's my middle name. That's why I'm laughing.
It just came to me one day. Oh, Francine. Because wait, I just have to tell you guys this quick story. We had a lunch lady in elementary school, and this girl would always be crying. Her name was Irene, and the lunch lady would always go, "Oh, Irene, it's not that serious." So that's why Francine, I don't know, Francine Irene came into my head because I was
Come
like,
on, Irene. Ooh.
yeah, I'm like, why are I make, like when you're these intrusive thoughts that make take everything to the next level of drama. And so I kept seeing it in my head, like, why are you making this so dramatic? And then Francine came into my head. Oh, Francine, it's not that serious. So that's where that came from.
I actually am honored. I'm honored.
Yeah. And so I think that that's kind of like the third party, like the neutral witness or the third party, just like I teach this thing where you tell yourself a story about what you're thinking, right? Like you put it in the third person, a way to distance yourself from it. So you can recognize that this is just a story I'm telling myself, and I'm telling myself a story to scare myself, because in the scaring of myself, there's part of me that doesn't want to do something. There's part of me that doesn't want to have to take responsibility about something. There's a child in me. So for me, what's really helpful all the time is I always think about inner child work. And inner child work is simply imagining a child inside of you that looks just like you as a child, right? Imagine you as a child.
Picture this.
Yeah. And if you have any pictures of yourself as a child, you can use that. And I always like the younger version of a child, but old enough to have a conversation, like 6 or 7. And think of yourself as 6 or 7. And if you don't have an ability to think about yourself as 6 or 7, ask people, do you have any pictures of me from 6 or 7? And look at that picture and have a conversation with her or him.
I feel for her. I'd want to rescue her.
Well, you can now. Right? You rescue her by saying, "I love you, sweetheart," but you're just trying to scare yourself because you don't want to do this thing that you have to do, or you don't want to have to like be responsible and be an adult, or you don't want to have to feel this way and no one's telling you, especially because we are addicted to certain feelings, right? We are addicted. It's easier the way Dr. Dispenza describes it is being addicted to a feeling, right? So when we get into a certain situation, we will have a certain feeling. And so when we get in that situation where we feel like for me, it is when I'm in a room with very, very people who have a lot of letters after their names, like PhDs and things like that. Even though I've done a ton of spiritual study, I don't have like a PhD next to my name, right? Like I have been reading psychology, but because I don't have that, when they talk, sometimes there's that thing of I'm not good enough, right? Even though I can have conversations with these people, educated conversations, and they probably have no idea this is going through my head. This is my drama, my story that I'm telling myself, right? So
wait, I want to say something. Put these letters after your name. Kim Mazzella, DIY. Did it yourself.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Okay,
I was
anyway,
like, I thought you were saying do it yourself. I'm like, well, she's a life coach. She's gonna make you do the work.
Yeah, no, did it yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's I wanted you to finish that story, but that is huge. That is huge, huge, huge.
I know. I think all of us here could be PhDs in what we do, but we don't give ourselves the credit because, unfortunately, the way that we were raised and the story that we believe and the narrative that we know, that's what it is in this world.
But I don't believe that. So here's the thing. I believe what you're saying. I believe what you totally are saying. Yes, I agree with that. I personally do not ascribe to what you guys are saying, meaning because I've met so many people that are PhDs, that have master's degrees, that you sit there and you just go, like, seriously, this person has these degrees. And I just know so many people that get intimidated by that. And I just think it's a huge point. But Kim, I want you to finish your story, but I think it's a huge topic that we need to circle back to.
And if anybody out there has anything they want to say or add, we'd love to see your comments. I see the numbers going up and down, up and down. I'm wondering if it's because people wish they could be a part of this conversation. Just know that you can always be a part of the conversation.
Right in, kids.
Yeah, and as soon as there's a chance to like put your comment up, I definitely will. William Purdy, thank you so much for saying that we're looking good. I don't know if you're still there from Pennsylvania, but I'm hoping that you're doing well. It's nice to see your name up there again.
Yeah. So I think that going back to that, I mean, I think that we all find ways to stop ourselves from shining, right? Like we all do find ways to stop ourselves from shining.
That
And
dimmer
so,
light.
right. Intrusive thoughts it's almost like the ego mind saying, oh, you're going to shine, right? Oh, you can't do that. Look at who do you think you are? Marianne Williamson, once I've been listening to her since I'm really young. And I went to see her the first time when I was 20, I think, or 19 at Town Hall for $10 in the city.
Wow.
And I used to buy these cassette tapes, right? And I think I got rid of them because I don't have anything to play them on, right? And I mean, I had like 30 of her cassette tapes from when I was in my 20s. And then I remember she went up to like $15 and she moved to Avery Fisher Hall. I'm like, oh man, $15. Now I think you can see her for like 300.
I was gonna say put a zero at the end and multiply it by 2 and there you go.
Yeah, right. But she said one of the things she said was, I was listening to her years ago, and she said this over and over again, and that, who do I think I am, right? You go to this thing like, who am I to do this thing? And who are you? You're the chosen one. And then she's like, oh, she goes, and everybody else, by the way, you and everybody else, you're all the chosen one. If you are on a path to do something and you feel inspired to do it, that's because you're supposed to be there, right? Like that you're supposed to be there. And if you don't think you're supposed to be there, check it out with your friends. They'll let you know, right? Like just like that conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No degrees will make you smarter. That's right, Jerry. Mm-hmm. She is a smarty pants.
Thank you. So if I said, I think I'm ready to be an airline pilot, and I asked my friends that, they would be like, how many hours have you had behind the wheel of a flight? And I'm like, none. No, I don't think you're ready. But if I said I'm really ready to coach women, I think most of my friends would say, well, considering I'm doing it, yeah, I think you really are, right? Like I'm not saying be insane. I'm saying really check it out. Intrusive thoughts are usually the thing that hold us back. I mean, they really do, because what happens is I think of it as like beautiful, smooth surface, right? And like you take something and you whack it and you like make a little space and you get that little thought in there. And if you're going to whack it again, it's up to you. You'll always have that space in there. It might be a little bump, right, in your little surface. You're always going to have that little bump there. So you'll always be able to go back to it if you want to, but you could just walk away from it and just focus on something else, because really, honestly, the way you pivot is by looking at it, by naming it, right? Sonia Choquette says always give it a name, say it out loud. Don't give it any power. Take the power of it away. And one of the things they used to say in AA, in OA, is when you get that addictive thought, like, I could just have one, call yourself out, call a friend, right? That use your support group, like join Open-Minded Mystics.
Well, what about an intrusive thought that's not so simplistic? So, and I'm really, now I'm being serious, and now I'm going to actually utilize my friendship with Kim Mazzella and just expose myself to all of you. So you all know that I'm at the end of my lease for my business, and I went to Arizona and wish I could move there and wish I could start my life there. But right now is probably not the moment to do so. It would be great. It would be irresponsible of me to leave my family at this time, to be very open and honest. But I also am at a crossroads. My landlord called today and said, so what'd you decide? And I cannot believe I cannot make a decision. Like, I do not know what to do about my business.
So well, the decision is go ahead. I'm sorry, Kim.
No, go ahead.
The decision is sign another year lease or go month to month. That's the decision.
Well, he's saying 6 months. He won't because
cool.
He's selling the building. So it's just, but the interesting thing is I actually took the leap of faith to ask him to lower the rent, and he said no. But I was proud of myself, because for me, that was humongous, because even though I'm a businesswoman and run a business, it's like kind of saying, well, I shadow box, but I haven't been in the ring with anybody in a while. I've been going through the motions, but actually like negotiating a lease is not something I've done in 12 years. So, that was an interesting thought. It is a very intrusive thought, like what to do.
Intrusive thought. I want to mention something, and here's what I want to mention. You're not ready to leave, right? You're not really ready, but you know what you want. What if you just use 6 months to plan?
Oh yeah, I know. I've been thinking about that too.
But here's the thing, and I get that feeling. I want it now. I want the goose that laid the golden egg
Daddy, I
now,
want it
Daddy.
now. That's exactly what I
10,000
was thinking.
pounds of ice cream, right?
I want it
Yeah.
now.
Right. But, and I get that feeling, and I understand. I understand. What would your other option be? Like, I know
I'd have to find another space and, to try to do some comparing. And I've already called my old landlord to see if my old space is for rent, because that would be the most ideal place to go. And he's got that rented month to month right now too. So it's just, I'm sharing it because I know there's so many people that like know what the story is. I'm like, what the hell am I hiding for? This is a real life experience, in case someone is sitting here going, well, give me an idea of an intrusive thought. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not looking to eat ice cream. Maybe somebody's thinking about divorce. Maybe somebody's thinking about changing jobs. Yep. Like, I wanted to just like take my leap of faith and put it out there as like, even though I am a believer in, I can manifest so much, and I know it sounds contradictory for me to say I'm a believer in it and then to be in this platform of reality, because you can't have a foot in fear and a foot in love, and I know that, but I certainly have to say right now I'm doing the splits.
Okay, here's my thing. An intrusive thought is a thought that, when you're in a perfectly happy place, comes in and it knocks you down. It says, oh, it tries to bring you to a negative place, right? It's not there's a thought that you allow that brings you to a negative place. This situation is, I'm not really clear on what I want.
Correct.
I'm not really clear on what I want. I'm clear on what I want. Eventually, I'm clear on the end, right? So you have cast a really long line. I want to point myself in this direction. I know where I want to live. I know what I want my life to feel like. I know what I would want it to feel like. And what I think is going on is, where you are right now doesn't match that feeling, right? So you have a couple choices here, right? Like, so we could do a geographical change and try to match that feeling. What I would do is try to access the feeling first and then make the decision. Right? Then make the decision, because trying to make a decision about a feeling that you want to access when you don't have the feeling you're not aligned with the outcome.
No, I get it. That makes sense. Thank you for the reminder.
And so here, everybody knows that I don't know if I can say this out loud, but eventually I'm going to move on to greener pastures in my world. But I have some certain things that I got to take care of first, right? I was ready, and then things changed and I had to stay. And that feeling was almost like, oh God, I got to stay in, another year. And I was really depressed, but in that year, I knew I got to align with joy. And believe it or not, I don't spend my days like, I hate this, right? It's hard to be in certain places, and it's hard to be in certain environments, right? But in that environment, it's mostly you. Right? It's mostly you creating an environment. Mm-hmm. So it's
and 10 clients a day asking, so what are you going to do every half hour on the hour?
You could change.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, but that's something that you could say, I don't know. I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah. I think I'm going to make these big poster boards that say Arizona or bust with cactuses all over them, and just put them up in your salon and just be like, I don't know, I'm going to look for signs.
So I'm not going to tell you what to do, but what I would say is this, right? And making a decision, you've already made the decision about what you want in your future. Everything else is just the path to get there.
Yeah.
Right. So you know where you want to be. You put it out. You trust the universe will always give you what you want. You've asked, and the universe has said yes. And now you're just like, okay, well, I don't know how to get there, right? And then you got to ask, make it clearer. Make the best way clearer. Shine a light on the best way, because 6 months isn't that long. I get it. I get it's really not that long, unless you're thinking it's going to be longer, or you want a more solid thing, or it'll give you 6 more months to get ready.
Yeah.
What would be the no of just?
Well, to be really honest, the no is, I did ask my old landlord if my space is available, because it's smaller, which is like way more affordable.
Yeah.
Because then at least, it totally is.
It's a big space. Yeah, I get it.
And it's just right now, if I had the smaller space and I could take that $1,000 a month I'd be saving, can you imagine? I could actually pay college debt off instead of living paycheck to paycheck. The only difference between me and lots of other people is I sign my own paycheck. So it's just, that's it. And I've lost my feeling for the flavor of the Pringle, like where I want to do other things, but I can't. I'm anchored to having to earn a living, and it's very stressful.
I mean, it would be so much better. So what if, because remember, one of the things that we get lost in is it's either or, right? Like it's either or. You saw these other spaces and you said, no, 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 no. What if there's like, okay, first place, ask for a miracle. Like really, can we let's
do it
talk
tonight,
about,
kids.
Let's talk about how we ask for a miracle, right?
So let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's talk about
Can
it.
you tell us about that?
Please.
Okay, so what a miracle is a shift in perception that creates other shifts in perceptions, right? So it's a shift in perception, and from that shift, it's like all the dominoes fall down. So what we have to do is we're going to say, I mean, let's go. Okay, so I want to be in Arizona. I want to be in Arizona. How long? A year from now? 2 years? When I get.
Now I do have my clients watching. So like Kathy Cousins is probably sitting there booking other appointments in other salons. Let's just talk about, we could say when you feel that you can't make a choice. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
When you feel like when you don't have control to make a choice. That's what the feeling
So when
is.
you feel like real, so okay, let me see if I can think of something in my life. Okay, so we're trying to find a place, right? We're trying to find a place to rent. And there is nothing to rent, like nothing. So we're looking for a
Tracy's like nodding. She knows.
4-bedroom, 3-bathroom place that isn't $8,000 a month. Because
Good luck to you.
We're gonna ask the universe. I don't want to spend $8,000 a month in rent. I mean, like I really just don't, right? Like
It's insane.
Like, yeah, it's insanity, right?
It is
Where last year the same places were $5,000 a month, which I was complaining about that. Right?
$5,000 a month.
Girl, you must be coaching a lot of people.
Yeah. Can you, any of those guys that you're coaching single that has all that money?
Yeah, right?
I don't even want.
We want to buy a villa, not a villa.
Well, those are both astronomical, ridiculous prices for people to spend on places, right? So, my boyfriend's living in a place that he's not going to want to live in June because my parents are going to be back, right? So my parents went to Florida. He said, great, I'll live here for 3 months. And then we'll probably find our place by then.
How amazing is that? Yeah.
Yeah, it's very nice. So we have a couple months to do this. So I really need a miracle, right? So what a miracle is a shift in perception, but it's also, first place, I got to know what's going to happen. I got to know what's going to happen. And I got to trust that when we ask for things, when it feels like pressure, that's not a shift in perception. So if I said it has to happen by June, right?
Right.
Then what I'm doing is I feel how that it has to happen by June. Do you feel how that feels?
Yeah.
Awful, right?
Yeah.
How about this? I know it's going to happen. I expect it's going to happen. And the way it's going to happen, everybody's going to be happy throughout the whole process. How does that feel?
Great.
Right? It doesn't feel impossible, right?
No.
Because I don't know, maybe other things show up, right? Everybody's going to feel happy throughout the process. So I'm going to say the universe. So I'm going to say a prayer. Thank you, universe, for sending me this beautiful place. I'll say what the place is that I want. I write it down, right? And I'll write down what I want to spend. It's out there. It's just a matter of, is it my speed or is it God's speed, right? Like, is it energy speed? Is it universe speed? The universe has to line up all the things. For all I know, there might be some couple out there that doesn't feel like putting their house up for rent and is like, oh, I like that couple. We'll give it to them. Let's go find them. Like, let's find a real, who knows? Like, there miracles happen every day. Why shouldn't they happen to me? Why shouldn't they happen if you're house hunting right now? Why shouldn't you get a miracle? Why shouldn't you get a miracle? So you got to know it's going to happen, and you're going to trust that the universe has not taken you this far to drop you, has not given you this desire to say, right? So what happens is, because we don't see it in our way, right? We don't see it in like, I want to be there. I want the goose that lays the golden egg now. We get like, oh, the universe lost my file, right? And the universe doesn't lose your file. You lose your file. Because timing is of the gods, right? So what happens is, I think of it as a big computer, and they're like, oh, we got to get all this stuff together. We got to get this person to whisper to this person, and this person to talk to this person, and this person's going to see this person, and this, and they put all the pieces together. And sometimes that takes a little bit of time, because I mean, I'm sure the angels and guides are like, guys, I'm doing my best. I'm screaming in their ear. Just give me a second here, right? Like, so. This person, and then what I want, write down what you want on a piece of paper and write at the end. Thank you so much for it. And then you walk around going, I know I deserve this thing. I know I deserve this thing, and I trust it's going to come in perfect timing. I trust it's going to come in perfect timing. And so you just see it, and every time you think about it, you get excited about it, asking for that miracle. And then you give the miracle to everybody you know. So when you're passing everybody else, say, I hope that you find the perfect place for your salon. I hope you find the perfect place to work. I hope you find the perfect place for your joy. I hope you find the perfect place for whatever it is you want. Start giving it out.
Give it to everybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, give it out to everybody else and get excited. See them getting it. Like, I hope you live in a home where you have all the counter space you could ever ask for. Your closet space is awesome. You have fabulous window. So funny because one of my clients was talking about having a window over her sink. And that's like always something I love, right? And it was something I've manifested in every home. I think the home builders must know this because it's in a lot of houses.
Because they know all the housewives are like washing dishes. Like we gotta make her look outside so she doesn't want to hit her head on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you kidding me? That's what the house builders are doing. They're like, we want her to be motivated to get outside. We'll show her a sunny day.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So manifesting a miracle is saying, I want this thing. And let me see it through the eyes of spirit, right? Let me just see it. So I'm going to trust. And trust is really such a hard thing in manifesting because when we ask for a miracle and we ask to create luck, right? So, I want to be able to satisfy all my clients and still have that feeling of freedom, right? Because what you learned about yourself is you want to feel free, right? And for all you could feel free in salon gossip. You don't know. You don't know. Maybe you can't, but that feeling of freedom can come when you ask for a miracle. So you're going to ask for the real miracle is to feel free.
This is JC Penny calling me.
What that was.
No, but I agree. You know what it is? I wanted to say the reason I did that was I feel like you need to talk about it out loud because you never know. I think and Kim, I want to ask you this, like putting it out into the universe by saying it, because to that exact point of like, you never know. What if there is a couple watching that says, oh, we're going to be like, let's just use an example. We're going to be out of Livingston traveling in Europe for a year and a half. We want someone that we know or that we could trust in our house to rent it. I'm just using an example of that.
Hey, listen, it could happen. Your sister's traveling.
That's what I mean. It's like you never know who's listening. So should you be talking about it or is that not?
Why not? Here's the thing. Talk about it if you feel inspired to talk about it. Everything should be done through the energy of inspiration because that's why if you ever listen to Abraham Hicks, I actually listened to a tape of theirs just recently and I was like, oh, they finally said it. He said, well, it seems like you're saying that I should just get myself happy and then just like, it'll come. She's like, no. No, you do have to work. You do have to show up at work. You get yourself happy and then have yourself led to where your work is, right? Get yourself happy and have your feet led to where you should be. Because people will always say, oh, you're just saying I'm going to get happy and then I won't care that the guy or the job or the whatever money doesn't come. And they're like, well, kind of, but they can't.
So you get that feeling in your body of what it feels like when you are in your happy place, no matter where that is. Everybody's happy place is different. So that feeling that you get when you're in your happy place, you internalize that. And are you visualizing where you are or no? It's just that feeling. So
the goal is to get yourself into that happy place as much as you can.
That feeling.
And then from that place, inspiration naturally unfolds. And that's what a miracle is. A miracle is when you are able to see something through. Right. So when I said, and it has to happen by June, that's not a miracle. That's not asking for
a deadline.
Right. That's asking for something that, that's asking God for gifts, right? Like send me, which is nothing wrong with that, but it's asking for it's got to be like this. Right. So it's about trusting that my way will not unfold as beautifully as it could unfold if I just trust and give it away. As I am supposed to be joyful. And think about it, when you know something's going to work out. I remember before I met my husband years and years and years ago, and I've said this to other people, I was single for 4 years. And during that time, I was in a very big spiritual odyssey. So it wasn't like I was like, oh, weeping and single. I was just like, that was a long time.
Weeping and single.
Right. We've all been there.
Well, there's different types of single, right?
You've heard of the weeping willow. Now we have the weeping single.
Whipping Kim. We have weeping single.
But the last like 6 months, I was getting like, what the hell? Right? Like, okay, we're like, am I gonna just never meet anybody? And my therapist at the time said, if I could tell you that this person was going to show up at this time, at this date, do you think you'd go and just be chill about life? Right? Do you think you'd just go and be like, oh, cool.
No, I wouldn't.
More time with my girlfriend, spend more time, right?
Yeah, I think you would. So
if you could just trust that the universe has your file, that you put your request out there, and that it's going to show up at the perfect time, at the perfect date. And our job is to do the things that we're inspired to do. And so if I'm inspired to see a place, I am. If I'm inspired to talk to someone, I am. If I'm inspired to put an ad out, like on Craigslist looking for a house, I'll do that, right? Yeah. But ask for the part of a miracle is asking for the inspiration of what to do, not just how to show up in the world. How do I show up in the world? I talked to you. I told my client, start thanking for money that comes easily. Thank for money if it comes easily. And she got 3 different experiences of money in a 1 week period, all big money that blew her away. And she's like, why wasn't I doing this all along? Right? Like, why wasn't I doing it all along? Because she wasn't asking. Right?
Well, you know, it's funny. I feel like the analogy that's coming to my brain right now, and welcome my brother's here, and he's going to clarify whatever it is. He said, what does the universe say to do in the situation? But I don't know where you put that in there. So if you could clarify your question, that'd be amazing. Sometimes when you like put something out there to manifest, it's like the difference between ordering food from someone that takes an hour to deliver or TSMA. They always say it's going to be like 45 minutes, and in 15 minutes that food is there, and it's amazing. And it's like, if we could just like figure out how to recognize, I don't sit there except for, sometimes when it's like an hour I do, and then I'm like, where is this stuff? And you're checking the Uber Eats app and you're like, where are they on the map? But like most time in life, and I use that analogy a billion times, you go to a restaurant, you order something, you order it, online, whatever. You don't sit there and wait every minute and go, okay, I just ordered the chicken. Where is the chicken? It's just like we allow certain things to happen easier, but some things are not so easy. I just think that's.
I agree with that analogy. I think that's a great analogy. So Kim, so the tool is when you start to feel yourself get like that, where you're like, okay, I asked for this thing, a couple months ago, at least 6 months ago, right? And you start to get that, you start to feel that doubt creeping in of like, oh, this is BS or whatever.
That's the intrusive thought. The intrusive
That's
thought.
The intrusive thought.
I'm never gonna. You did all the energy work. You put it out. I mean, I did a grid. Like I had a grid that I put down, like a crystal grid, and like that someone told me to create to send the right partner for me. So I think about that, like when I was looking for the right partner, and I would look at my crystal grid. The last time when I met the person I'm in a relationship with right now, I wasn't in that place at all. So, but going back to when I was with my when I met my husband, before I met my husband, and when I was getting like right, and that feeling, what did I do? Was it's not about keeping yourself busy, it's about keeping your mind actively focused on the things that make you happy, right? So believe it or not, that was a time in my life that I really started to learn how to read tarot. Right. That was a time in my life where I was like, I'm going to learn all about astrology and all about tarot. Right. I had done other things. Right. I had done energy work and I knew all about the chakras and I was really into yoga. But I was like, oh, I'm going to learn these things now. And so I really enjoyed all of that. That's when I really spent that time doing that. Find passions that make you feel as passionate about what you want to create. Start to explore. So my therapist at the time said to me, what are the things that you love to do in your life? Go do them and invite people. Just invite a bunch of people. So I wanted to go like if you want to go to the flower show, which wasn't my thing. Like I like the flower show, but that was a big thing in Philadelphia when I was living there at the time. Invite 20 people to the flower show and see who shows up. And see if you want to hang out with them. And then if you don't want to hang out with them, if there's a book signing, invite 15 people to the book signing, see who shows up. There's so many ways that you can engage in life when you're feeling like you're waiting. Yeah. And Yes, thank you, Jerry. You can be happy whenever you want.
Whenever you want. My brother said there's no rules and no judgment. He's new to the show. There are so many rules, Peter.
That's so not true.
No, there are rules. The first rule is no.
Well,
No talking about Fight Club.
Right.
Actually, I watched that movie with my daughter the other day because we have this list. I told you we have this list of movies before she goes to college that we're trying to watch together. And one was Fight Club. And I'm like, why are we watching this?
I've never even
This is awful. I watched most of that movie like this.
Yep.
I couldn't watch it.
So
this book comes to mind a lot when we talk about creating shifts in perception, miracles, and I love this book, right? Mm-hmm. And trying to it's a little dusty or whatever, but this is like
fun read.
This is it is an easy fun read. I love this book, and I love the fact that when this first came out, when I first read this, all of the people in it, I was like, who are these people? Dr. Joe Dispenza. And now I know he's one of your favorites, both of you. And you refer to him.
You know what's crazy? Have you seen the Netflix of The Secret? Have you seen it? Do you know Michael Beckwith?
Yes.
He was my pastor in LA.
Yeah.
No way.
I used to go to his church every Sunday.
I love him.
He's to see him live, Kim. Here's the thing I just have to say, because it was so awesome. First time I went, I just was like, I want a church that's non-denominational, blah, blah, blah. I look up and it just said agape, first thing that came up. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to this thing. I went to this. It's the first time in my life. I'm sitting in the church and they start walking around with tissues. And I was like, what's going on here? Why is everybody happy? Like, I didn't know if there was like a ceremony going on. Then Beckwith comes up and I'm like sobbing.
Oh my God.
Sobbing.
Wow, that's amazing.
Talk about someone that is like electric and makes you feel like literally that there is a direct line between you and the divine. I'm telling you, if you ever have the chance to go see him, let's
make it happen.
Guacamole. Unbelievable. That should be a class trip for Open-Minded Mystics. We should go
down.
To
I think Open-Minded Mystics.
Another great book, Jerry. Yes.
One of
yes.
Well, we're going to the cacao.
Yes. Oh yeah. Let's tell everybody we have our first event.
We have our first trip planned. That's so true. We are going.
That's right, class trip.
So excited. And you know what? It is. Let me get the details. I think there might still be room. I'm not really sure, but it is a friend of mine, Danielle Mcdonald, who's married to a comedian that both Tracy and I know, Rich McDonald, and she is amazing. She is just got Danielle Mcdonald. If you go and you check out her page, you can go to DannyMcDonald.co. She's on Instagram. I am Danny McDonald. She is a photographer that she does intuitive photography for women. She takes people on these amazing trips and then photographs them and their inner goddess. She did a lot of inner goddess work. Hi, Angel. Well, this is Danny. I mean, this is me showing Danny's face on like a computer, but stunning inside and out. Beautiful. She's a bright light. She's so sweet. She's actually doing senior shoots. She's got 5 spots that she's booking, that she's taking instead of a traditional senior portrait, but she does that with like women all over the place, right? Before the pandemic, she was supposed to travel to Ireland. She was supposed to travel to, she just does these incredible photo shoots. Well, I saw that she would advertise and she had invited me to this I hope I'm saying it correctly, cacao ceremony. Is that how you say that? And it's at the Rock Box Annex. It's in Morristown, New Jersey. And there are different dates. And I can actually post this on our Open-Minded Mystics pages. I'll put it up so everybody can see it. But we are going on April 9th. And I cannot wait to see what's going to happen. And it's just increasing experiences is something I really want to do. So it's funny that you say that, Kim, because that is something that I feel like the hiking made me want to hike more. The hiking just encompasses being outside, being in nature. You know, I am a tree hugger. Like, I love trees. Like, I know it sounds so goofy, but it's just, I feel
it doesn't sound goofy.
No, but just to say I'm a self-proclaimed tree hugger.
Everybody should be. Okay,
I love trees so much.
Everybody should be connected to Earth, and anyway, so not should. We shouldn't be really using shoulds, but I mean, I definitely think that the more
it's a good idea if you can connect with nature.
Connect to nature, the more you can. It's grounding. It's really important for your first chakra. There's different things that we could do different areas, but honestly, the root needs to be rooted sometimes, and just connecting to earth really is very good for your body.
You know, it's so interesting that you say that, because today I kind of crawled back under the covers this afternoon. I needed some space to like think, and I probably should have just gone outside, but I just didn't get myself to do it. And I think that that's sometimes very common for people, where we sit there and we're like, oh, I'm just going under the covers. It's easier. It's quieter. I can put pillows over my ears so I don't have to hear anything. And really what I should have done is just gone outside.
Yeah, but maybe you just needed to withdraw. Sometimes
I love you. Thank you for saying that.
Withdraw. I mean,
my daughter brought me dinner up, so no, but I just wanted to mention that we are going to be doing some trips, and we're going to put some stuff out there. This is a smaller group, but we most certainly can put it out there. And if anyone is interested in going when we're going to be there, we'll sign autographs. But we will definitely be fully immersing ourselves in the cacao.
Yeah, speaking of experiences, can you put our flyer up?
I was just gonna do it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Talk about intuition.
Yeah, this is our Open-Minded Mystics mastermind group, which is happening on Monday. So it's more talking about what we were talking about tonight, turning showers into flowers. So that's Monday, March 28th. You don't want to miss it. 7:30 to 9, which is it never feels like enough time.
So fast.
It goes so fast. It's so awesome. And it's only $20 per session. And that includes the lecture, the interactive workshop, and then a group discussion. And then the most amazing meditation that Kim Mazzella does, where she includes everyone individually about what you're working on, what you're focusing on. And so it's a custom meditation, ladies and gentlemen, for $20 plus the lecture, plus getting to work together, plus, networking and harnessing energies. It's just
an amazing thing. I send the recording of the... What more do you want, people? Not the whole session, session. Everyone agrees, and we just do the audio recording to, what? Really, Donna? Did you... To
the meditation.
Thank you. I kept thinking manifestation.
So amazing. The people that we've met, and... Yeah, the women keep coming back and back and back, and we're all working together, and we all have a vested interest.
Exactly.
You can't find a mystical emoji. Chris, you're so brilliant. Why aren't you creating one?
Exactly. Chris Casey said theme song is completed.
Oh my God. Seek and you shall find, ladies and gentlemen. We put it out there.
Chris,
that's amazing.
Why don't I just we start putting out houses?
Yeah, Chris, we now need you to manifest houses.
Exactly. Because otherwise, Chris, this is what we have to. This is what we have to play. Wait, let me see. We got this one. So we want a Chris Casey, or we could put feeding the ducks.
Chris Casey's gonna rock it out. I already know. It's gonna be killer. It's gonna be.
This is feeding the ducks. I don't know what kind of an area they feed the ducks in.
They feed the ducks at a rave club, I guess.
No, these are sexy ducks.
Like a mellow club.
No, these are definitely sexy. Like
this is like a lounge.
R&B ducks.
Lounge, yeah.
Sexy R&B ducks.
These are lucky ducks. They're getting lucky.
Speaking of lucky ducks, I'm ready for our cards, Donovan.
Yes. Let's see.
Look at
I'm so excited. Oh, it's on your phone, Tracy.
Oh, Chris Casey, I can't wait. You are the biz on bomb, Chris.
You're the best. All right, you ready?
Yes.
So the cards this evening, if you are feeling energetically connected to myself, Kim, or Tracy, then those are the cards that you should probably just take as your message. If not, you can take them all. It's fine. It's what we do here. We're givers. You know what I mean? And sexy ducks. I keep picturing that song, Sexy Eyes, but I just picture sexy ducks.
Sexy ducks, want to move with you. I want to move with you. Sexy ducks.
All right, so Tracy Locke, I think we're going to go first. Oh, was that Papa Locke or was that Chris?
No, it's my duck. There's nobody there.
Oh, that's it. I was going to say, tell your dad or Chris I said hi.
No.
I love those guys.
Yes, they're wonderful, but they're not here.
Okay.
Just us ducks, kids. Ducks. All right, here we go.
Tell me when. I've already knocked.
And now.
Okay, let's see. First card up is Precious Gift. Friendship, family, and love are precious gifts. Do not lose sight of what is most important.
Yes.
Precious gift. And the undercard, Vision. Ooh. These are different for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
A positive outcome requires a positive vision. Yes. Visualize everyone involved in your present situation surrounded by light and love. Make sure to include yourself also. Your love has the power to influence and transform the current events.
Ooh.
Wow.
I'm visualizing.
Visualizing, sexy as. Okay, Kim Mazzella.
I'm ready.
All right, you're gonna tell me when to stop.
Stop!
Okay, stopping. She goes, stop. 50.
I knew that was coming.
Anxiety. We surround you with the healing light of amethyst. Take a deep breath and breathe in this beautiful violet light. Feel your anxiety melting away. There is nothing to fear. There is only love.
Okay, that's really interesting that came up because my son called me in the middle of this session.
Okay.
And then,
I like how she's got that selenite. She's like got like her weapon.
I know.
Peace. No matter where you are, or what you're doing, inner peace is always possible, Kim. All it takes is a subtle shift. We're talking about shifts all night. In awareness, think love and peace will follow.
I will. I feel like those were pulled out and placed for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know.
And they were different cards. We didn't get them.
We didn't get the same cards. All right. Well, because we're moving, we're shifting.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Precious gift.
Oh!
Friendship, family, and love are precious gifts. Do not lose sight of what is most important. That is the truth. I have to focus right there on that, and then other things will follow through. I'll keep that up for you right now. Oh boy, and then there's change.
Oh!
Life is a journey. It would be very unfulfilling if each step was exactly the same as the last, because life is always changing. It is forever fresh and new. Allow your life to unfold gracefully. Be grateful for what was, is, and forever will be.
I can't believe Precious Gift stayed up there the entire time.
I know, that's wonderful.
It's menopause. It makes me shifty. I like to hydrate. Listen, ladies, gentlemen that are out there, this has been an amazing evening again. I love the community that we have. I love the collective consciousness that we had together. Please continue to send out your good vibes for everyone that's watching, because you never know what someone's going through, especially our friends and people that we know connected to anyone that is going on with this horrific war. So just send love to everyone in power. Send love to everyone that you feel is in power so that you could feel more in power.
Yep.
Yeah, that was pretty deep. I don't know where that sentence
Until you
came
did
from.
that. It was really deep.
I know, but I like to do that. I'm a self-sabotager. That's what I do. Kim and I are going to work on that for 3 hours after everybody goes to bed now. Listen, I hope you had a great night. I had an amazing night feeding the ducks together. And we'll see you next Monday if you have come into our group. If not, we'll see you in 2 weeks. And we'll see you then.
Namaste. Peace out, Girl Scout.
Yes. Hug each other. Love each other. Peace.